He's going to show you one step at a time. He's not going to tell you where your destination is. He's going to say, this is your next step. Take that one, and then we'll go the step after that. If you've been coming to True Hope for a while, you know that a few months ago, Matt challenged us to find our one. I'm pretty outgoing, but I struggled with this. I'm pretty comfortable sharing my testimony. Robin and I, early in our Christian life, went through the Navigators 2.7 course. And in that course, they taught us and encouraged us to develop a 2-minute testimony that we actually had to go out and share with people. I think my reaction to finding my one was more of who am I going to find? Who is God leading me to? And I was really struggling with that because I didn't see anybody coming into my life. It was not a matter of how am I going to share with them. It was more of who am I going to share with? It finally came to the point, out of desperation, I asked Matt, where do I find these people? I don't remember his words, actually, but I think it was just, it's not that tough. It's pretty simple. And I think I was really trying to overthink it. So a few weeks later, Robin and I ran into Dave. And we've known Dave for a few years, and occasionally we'd run into him when we were out walking. I don't think I was thinking about it as we were walking, saying, where's my one today? I think it was just in the back of my mind, maybe even in my subconscious, that, okay, I'm somewhere, there's somebody out there that God has for me to talk to. And then we ran into Dave. We'd always stop and talk with him. And on this particular occasion, I asked Dave how things were going. And he proceeded to share issue after issue with me about things that he was struggling with, including work and personal issues. He even commented toward the end of our conversation, sorry for unloading on you. Dave found out that we were going to church, and that's when he said, you and I need to talk. So I asked for his cell number and texted him a few times after that, trying to arrange lunch or coffee. He was always busy, but he always said, stay in touch, so I didn't think he was blowing me off. About a month ago or so, Robin saw Dave when she was out and chatted with him, and she came home and suggested I try and reach him again. So a couple days later, I texted Dave, and this time he said, name the date and the location. We were going to get together for coffee. I really felt like God was wanting me to talk to him, and so that's why I was persistent with it. Many people would have given up after a phone call or two, but what he was saying in his responses was, he wasn't saying, please keep trying to reach out to me, but that was the underlying message. Sorry, I can't get together. Try again. So I immediately started praying about our upcoming get-together. Remember, the be and bless, that's begin with prayer. I think the prayer was basically, God, I'm not sure where you're going with this. I know Dave. Please open the door that's meant to be open, and let's just see how we can glorify you in this. We got together for coffee the following week, and he shared approximately 90% of the time of the 90 minutes we were together. I was really happy to listen, which of course is the L in bless. I think my realization when I knew that God was in this, and was when Dave said, you and I need to talk. At that point, it was like, okay, God, you're leading me down this road with him. I'm basically just trying to be present with him. And I'm not necessarily trying to steer the conversations like, I've got to get my testimony in today. I've got to share this. I'm just waiting for God to open that door. And so as I'm friends with him, as he's sharing, I'm listening, I'm gathering, data, I'm hearing things that he's saying. Eventually, I think it'll come to the point where I'm going to say, let me tell you what happened to me. Because eventually, I'm sure he's going to come to something that's going to relate to my life. And I can say, I experienced that too. Let me tell you what happened in my life. Although you can't control the number of times and the number of opportunities you have to share your story with somebody. You could share it with a friend. You could just practice in front of the mirror, just so you keep it fresh. But I think just being aware of people, what they're saying, actually listening to them and not thinking of where you need to be next or who you need to talk to next or what you want to say next. I think just listening to people and then listening for those things that you might be able to say, I hear what you're saying and I experienced something like that too. Here's what happened in my life. And then you're ready to go because you already have it internalized.